Hey guys, we managed to pry ourselves from Red Dead Redemption 2 just long enough
Let's speed this up. Come on.
Go-
We gotta go back to Red
back to the
Dead.
just long enough to go out to the movies and watch Hunter Killer with Gerard Butler, Gary Oldman, and Common, right? And it's a military movie with submarines. So we saw it. To tell you about it, to see if it's worth going to. Now, I thought it was funny because I was like, I'm going to come here. Well, I was watching, before the movie started, I was like, I'm going to watch the movie. I'm going to come over here and be like, we saw it so you don't have to. You know, you go watch or play Red Dead Redemption, save your money, you don't need to go. But I'm going to be honest, man, I liked it.
Same.
I love this movie, but I'm
love it.
crazy biased. So I'm gonna start this off. I love submarine films. I
me too.
I used to watch them with my grandfather and my dad. I love everything about them, like U-571, Das Boot, Hunt for Red October, Crimson Tide, even the Under Siege movies, Down Periscope.
Down Periscope?
It's so good. It's a
comedy.
It's Kelsey Grammer. It's
Kelsey Grammer comedy submarine movies?
Yeah,
It's good.
it's really good.
Okay.
But so I love this type of film, and even though like I'm willing to overlook some of there's some flaws with this film.
Yeah.
But it's still really
It's
good.
boring in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It almost put me to sleep in the middle. Joe?
I looked over and he's just like,
God damn it, Joe. I knew Joe would not like this one
chairs
the
are
least.
comfortable, and I was exhausted. Right?
Right, yeah, it's true. But no, honestly, guys, I have the same sentiments as Alex. I love submarine movies, and the way they introduce the film, just the opening shot as they go under an iceberg, they go into the Arctic waters, and they show the submarine moving, and I just turned to Alex, I'm like, man, subs are so cool. And he's like, yeah, they are. Yeah. It's so fun. And then they go and they show the interior of the sub. Everything's cramped. You know, it's working like a machine, clockwork. Everybody's on each other's pages. And so basically the film is about potential war between the United States and Russia. A Russian military coup, and
Gerard Butler has to prove himself.
And yeah, exactly. And then a mix with a little bit of a submarine film in there.
Yeah.
And a special operation Black Ops, rescue mission too thrown in there. And while the characters may not endear you to each one, they don't really do a lot of character development. No. Not even really on Gerard Butler's character. Nobody really gets developed. There's no standout performances here. It somehow comes together in just a badass, military thriller kind of film, because the first act really sets up the submarine parts.
Oh, yeah.
You've got torpedoes in the water.
Mystery.
You've got explosions, mystery. What is going on?
High tension. It's really high tension.
Yeah.
You're sitting there going, you don't know what's going to happen. And I'm sitting there going, like, what's going to happen?
Right.
Like, what's going to blow up? Because there was some explosions. There was a lot of action. But you didn't know what was going to happen.
And that's when the film is at its best, its strength. When it's on the submarine with Gerard Butler, they're pulling amazing-ass maneuvers. They pull one maneuver. I'm not going to spoil anything. We can talk about it in spoilers. But they pull one maneuver. I turn around. I was just like, that was cool. I was like, damn.
Can you do that?
Hey, you can do that? You can do that? You probably can't do that, Joe, in real life.
I was like, no way.
Right, but still, I thought it was really creative and cool.
It was great. I still enjoyed it.
Yeah, and so, and the third act as well, as things careen into the climax of the film, is the U.S. and Russia going to get pulled into a nuclear war, and you got to get the Russian president to the sub and this, and then you do this, and then, oh man, I thought that the third act was awesome. But unfortunately, it's that second act that really hurt it. What do you think hurt the film?
It was just slow.
A slow setup or something.
Well, so I mean, yeah, because the story didn't really start until like the beginning of the second act, right? Like, because we didn't get much of the story. We saw like amazing sub maneuvers and kind of some like skirmishes, sort of. But the story with the characters and the political situation didn't start till the second act, and that's when it just kind of slowed down too much. I mean, sub movies are already kind of slow, and this one was so slow it put him to sleep. So
it was the military or the political intrigue or the military intrigue with the parts with Common and this lady who comes in. I'm not sure who
she's
she
NSA.
is. Oh, NSA that helps out a little bit. Those kind of slow down the film, really affect its pacing. They do have this special operations team, which I thought I wasn't going to like. I thought that I was like, oh, man, you got 4 operatives here, and they need to go and rescue the Russian president in the middle of a Russian military base. I'm like, this is not going to happen. I mean, but then I was thinking about it more, and I was like, hey, it only took a few SEALs to get Osama bin Laden, and that succeeded. So maybe something like this could, happen. Of course, there's a lot of suspension of disbelief.
It was a huge stretch, but I was...
Hey, man, I'm telling you, our special force is fucking badass. I will admit, this film is like an advertisement for the military.
It was.
In a good way. I don't give a shit, because this thing was fucking awesome.
If you go in and you have maybe a beer or two and you're willing to believe that our armed forces can do all the cool stuff.
They can.
They can. They absolutely can.
Now, I had 3 whiskeys, and before I saw the film, but I'm telling you, I think it was friggin' awesome.
It was.
It really was.
It may have been 4 or 5. But.
Maybe But okay, so here's another thing. Okay, well, let me justify my position on why I like it. I thought I was gonna roll my eyes. There are some cliches in here. Okay, this film is nowhere near. It's not as good as Red October. Okay, some of these classics, these legendary masterpieces. Right. These are masterpieces. This is just an entertaining film, right? It's one that you get your money's worth and you're entertained. Some action, some really good CGI, some modern weapons and modern warfare, and I thought that was cool. But what I liked about it was that it didn't do the typical, the Russians are the bad guys. Mm-hmm. And that's some of the weaknesses of those older films in the masterpiece. It's really just a sign of the times. And you get a little tired of Russians are bad. Here, Russians aren't necessarily bad. In fact, without the Russians helping out, this film wouldn't be possible in terms of, the plot line. And I was like, that's cool, because it shows that these men who go underwater, who are trapped by just steel tons and could literally sink to, this terrifies me.
I cannot do that.
Right. And they experience the same things, and they're brothers, really. And they play on that here. And when everybody's being quiet and do you think they're going to hit the fire button, all these really tension moments center around how well they built up the fact that, regardless of what side you are on, it's about the greater implications of your job and your duty and what you're doing. And I thought that this film did that really well.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was great.
What else? Do you think we had some subplots? Do you think that simultaneously the film jumps back and forth between the special operation on the ground, with Russia and rescuing the Russian president, and the submarine? Did you like both?
I thought I was gonna hate it. Mm-hmm. I was with you. I thought okay, this they weren't. So the group wasn't sent to extract the president. That's not what they're there for. They're there just to observe.
Right.
They were there to get eyes on the ground, and that's not what they were there for. Mm-hmm. And so it makes sense, because if you're going to extract the Russian president, you're not sending 4 guys.
Right.
And so they got put in this situation, and it kind of made sense the way the dominoes fell. It's like, look, either World War III or you 4, figure this thing out. Mm-hmm. And if you're in for a little bit, in for a penny and for a pound, you're like, all right, I agree with this. Let's go.
You roll with it,
and you roll with it, and I'm constantly looking when I'm watching these movies that doesn't make any sense. And I don't know if it's my love for submarine movies, where it's I'm willing to ignore how stupid some of this stuff is, and some of it's kind of dumb. But I
could defend it. I could defend it because it's a coup. It's just one Russian general a bad guy of the film, who's trying to take over, and so he doesn't have the entire Russian army at his disposal.
Well, they don't know it's a coup too, because all of the forces there just know that they kind of set it up really well, where the defense secretary takes over, and if the president's ever indisposed, which he just tells everyone that he is, then he's in charge. And so they don't know a coup's happening. Right. And so it's kind of they're not on high alert. There's not a bunch of guards everywhere. They're just like, all right, we're just kind of hanging out in this place where no one would ever attack us. So it kind of makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah, I really liked it. The fact that they're on the different military, but we're all brothers. Russian, American, doesn't matter. We have the same kind of obligations to our to peace. Obligations to peace, Joe. Perfect. All right, well, shit. I mean, do you guys think it would be worth going and watching the film, even though people should be at home playing Red Dead Redemption?
I think so. If you could pry yourself away take a little break, go watch this movie. It is very enjoyable.
Yeah, it's a great thing to do. Like, if you can get a matinee for this movie, it'll be one of the best matinees you see. There's nothing else out right now. Skip Halloween. What else? There's nothing else.
Johnny English. I wanted to watch Johnny English Strikes Back just because I love Mr. Bean so much. I know those films are terrible. One of them had some good jokes. The other one was really devoid of good stuff.
I don't think it's going to be any better.
And I thought, and I saw the low-ass rating for Johnny English Strikes Back, and I was like, oh, I don't want to do this right now. I'm eventually going to see that film, so I chose Hunter Killer. Unfortunately, Hunter Killer was almost lower than Johnny English right now. It's getting blasted. It's maybe at 38%. Well, I'm telling you right now, I like this film way more than 30.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Way more than 30. So let's go ahead and give some final verdicts. Let's
go with the Submarine Lover.
Submarine Lover.
Okay, so I'm trying to come back to reality. Like
we finally found Alex's weakness.
Oh my god!
Submarine films.
Star
I would
Trek?
have never.
Like fantasy and Star Trek and submarine. And Star Trek and submarines like really kind of close together.
Yeah.
Like I love so. If I'm pulling away from that, I'm trying
also
to
like Master and Commander. You remember that film, Russell Crowe?
Russell Crowe. Yeah.
Did you like that?
That's a good movie.
Okay.
Yeah. So if I'm trying to separate myself from like how excited I was and like how I just remember watching movies with my grandfather, I think his movies probably like a 6 or 7. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. There's a lot of flaws with this film. This is pretty much almost like a propaganda piece for the U.S. Navy. That there's like you're 17.
Fuck that! I hate hearing it though. I don't want to be one of the critics that says that because I think that's bullshit. Why can't we tell stories about our military servicemen kicking some fucking ass? It's not like any of those things.
Like Battleship.
Like, fuck Battleship and the aliens and shit, Joe. I'm God damn it, Joe.
So the problem with this is it kind of. I mean, I know I have a lot of friends that were in the Navy and in the Army and in the Marines, and from what their experiences, this is so far out of like anything that has ever happened or will ever happen.
It's true because the captain does do plenty of things that will get him court-martialed.
Yeah, everyone on that ship is going
probably
to jail.
all those decisions would not have been made.
Yeah.
But I would like to think that in times of massive pressure that maybe people will get fucking creative like they get creative here.
Yeah.
So 7 out of 10. Joe, what are you thinking?
I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. I like the acting. It was good. Nobody really stood out, but I didn't really like Gary Oldman's character.
He was a pure asshole.
He's
He's supposed to be a pure asshole.
He could have.
But it doesn't feel like Gary really put himself
It's just
in
there
the
for the paycheck. It just would have felt like
he phoned
to me.
it in.
Yeah, and but switching back and forth, I like the submarine action. There's like a lot of like tension, but then you go back and you get like all these machine guns and grenades and everything.
Hell yeah.
So you get the best of both worlds.
You do get
It's
the best
it's
of
a lot
both
of
worlds.
fun. This movie is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Fucking Tomahawk missiles,
Yeah.
fucking big ass scuds. Just it's great. It's fucking
Yeah,
great.
it is.
Surprise snipers, like.
Look, if you like submarine films, go out and see this, okay? If you like military movies, go out and see this. If you like really in-depth, fucking characters and storylines, ain't gonna be your thing.
No,
all right?
there's no memorable characters in this entire film.
No, not even any memorable lines. But the action is handled competently, and there's a lot of tension in the film. I am going to rate Hunter Killer. I agree with Joe. From the outside perspective, if you're not into it, it is a 6. But I also am a huge submarine fan. I have a weakness for submarine films. I just think it's cool, especially when like water starts coming in. It's just like damage control teams, and you're putting out fires, and you're just all working together. It's friggin' awesome. All right, so 7 out of 10. Because the film didn't do anything to really hurt itself. And with these films, it's very easy to do the boring cliche thing. It kind of fell victim to that a little bit.
There was no love story. Like they didn't put someone in there where it's just like, wait a minute,
the
what?
love.
I thought
the
there
submarine.
was, honestly. I thought there was going to be some, but
No, there
thankfully
wasn't.
No women loving on the submarine. This is all duty, honor,
And there were women
peace.
serving on there, but it didn't matter. It was just like they
yeah,
were
of
doing
course.
their job, and it's no one's like trying to get with them.
Yeah. So, good film. Are you going to pry yourself from Red Dead? Probably not. So you could see it on Netflix or whatever when it comes out. But keep an eye out for it. Hunter Killer. All right,
Pretty
guys?
good.
It's cool. All right. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to talk spoilers, if maybe you have already seen it, stick around. If not, thank you for watching. See you on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys. Hey guys, welcome to the spoiler section for Hunter Killer. I just thought, okay, so it culminates into they get the Russian president out with only 4 guys.
3.
But 3 guys, right? Because one of the guys got hurt, and he's sort of their sniper. And
they had some help.
They had some help. So I forgot to mention this in the review. There were a lot of coincidences.
A lot.
Right?
So, we didn't say this was a great film.
Well,
we said it was a pretty good film.
Faults.
Yeah.
Okay, let's name all the coincidences. One is that it just so happened that the Russian captain from the first submarine that gets blown up from the inside survives. And they're tapping on the walls so that
out of 100 people, he survives. And he's also the one that trained literally everyone in the entire
Hold on,
fjord.
we're not there yet. So that's coincidence number 2. He literally trained everybody on the only destroyer that is in range to go after our submarine, and they are already firing. And luckily, our captain is creative enough in order to come out with these situations to get him out of it, but not multiple times. This time, he has to rely on the Russian captain to go on the speakerphone because they can hear them underwater with the sonar devices and the listening devices that, hey, and he starts naming off every single soldier that's on that Russian vessel. I thought that was cool. And I was like, they should have just thrown in, like, we have the Russian president, we rescued him. They don't really say that until a little later on, after they make the decision not to fire. But I think it would have strengthened the argument, because if there was Russians there, they probably just would have fired anyway. It's like, okay, well, he switched sides. He's a fucking traitor. Boom, you know. But if he had mentioned the president right then and there, it would have been good. But you got that one. And then as the SEAL team, not the SEAL team, but the special ops team was going in to extract the president, they found the exact room, a little vulnerable from the rest of the base on the outside of the building. But before going there, they find one of the Russian president's shot bodyguard or, you know, KGB special agency, you know, and he got shot and thrown into a river, but this fool ain't dead. He's just literally on the rocks.
Well, he got shot
waiting
in the
for
gut.
them.
Yeah, so he was just...
Yeah, but when they threw him over, he looked fucking dead. Why didn't they finish him?
He was playing dead.
Okay.
Again, it's not a great movie.
Right.
It's a pretty good movie.
But
there's a lot of things in this movie where it's like, do you buy this? All right.
But that's not it. That's not it. And then
The
sniper manages to run back from being shot because they find the team, or they think the team is in a tower. So one of the Russian generals just fires
Instead of
over there.
looking up.
Instead of
going
looking or
upstairs.
using binoculars.
He didn't want to go upstairs.
Nah, man, they're
A long
lazy.
walk. They had to
The
check
bad
a lot of
guys are
towers.
lazy. So that guy gets shot, but later on in the film, he rescues the team by, I don't know, crawling into the forest and backing
far.
them up. Yeah, that was really
It
fun.
was kind of cool, though.
But before that, when the team arrives there to do their original mission, the surveillance, they just so happen to be there at the same exact time that the coup is going on, and they actually literally see with their own eyes the coup happening, transmit the information back because they had a little RC radio control sub, which I want to buy because the thing was a little cool little thing. And then the NSA girl, so they had to jam communications. And when they jammed communications, they couldn't get the video. So, oh, no, you don't get to see the coup happening? No, the NSA girl goes, I have a purpose in this movie. There's a frequency that we here at the NSA use that we don't tell her. Beep, boop, boop, boop. And then they get to see the exact coup happening. And I think that's all the coincidences. Oh, no. The Gerard Butler just so happened to have a personal connection with the Russian captain. They had hunted each other before. But I guess, you know, there's only a few sub-captains anyway. But no, he wasn't a captain at that time.
He was
just
on the ship,
an officer on that ship at that time, or a wrench monkey. So a lot of coincidences. I should have put that in the review, but know now that it did not take away from the film. It did such a good job with everything else that you were willing to let those slide, right?
Yeah, everything kind of tied together, and there was no moment, there was no individual one that's like, I don't believe you. Like, that doesn't make any sense. So I bought it.
Yeah, the action made up for it.
Definitely. The action made up for it. What else? Well, that's pretty much.
There's no spoilers for this film. Like,
No.
you know exactly what's going to happen. It's like there isn't a World War III, so they were successful.
Well, they managed to rescue the Russian president. We have two of the four special ops guys die. One of them kind of died in a wasted thing. I thought
one dies. Only one dies underwater, right?
No.
2 die.
2 die. 1 die in the initial gunfight. When they're retreating from the gunfight, they go, damn, he's dead.
Oh,
and
you're
then
right.
we live,
You're right. Yeah.
After they
2
rescue
died.
the Russian president. And then 1 I thought was going to stay behind. They're on this harbor, and a Jeep is coming, and they got the sub, and there's 2 of them in the Russian president. I thought one of them was going to be like, go, man, go. And I'll distract them, and I thought that was going to be awesome. And I was like, yes, he gets his moment. But he gets a little bit of a crappy, death because he holds him off. So he actually does what I thought he was going to do. He holds him off, but then he decides to jump in the water anyway. And then he gets shot in the back as they all fire in the water, which has already been proven that the bullets should go a lot slower and we're deflecting. And he must be wearing body armor. He's a special guy. He would have survived that. But no, he gets killed.
Shot in the head, maybe.
No, he got shot a bunch. I mean, there was like 7 dudes shooting him. So
yeah,
pretty close range.
Yeah, and there's just this cool technology. This little mini sub gets shot up a little bit, and as they dive, the pressure starts to crack the sub, and they just manage to land and get out. I thought those 2 pilots piloting the mini sub were fucking dead.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to be like, Russian president, go. This is turning into the old school action movies of the 80s and 90s, that we were trying to predict that, but it doesn't happen that way. Everybody gets out of that sub last minute. The shit fucking explodes. So yeah, it's got a fucking happy ending. All right, it's got a Hollywood ending, but I didn't mind it.
It's okay.
Yeah,
it's fine. It can be a pretty good movie. Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right. That's fucking it.
So today you have to watch Down Periscope.
I will watch
Periscope.
Yeah.
And you've seen Das Boot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Das Boot's one of my favorites.
Oh yeah, Das Boot. Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's an older movie, a little slower pace, but it's very good. As well as The Hunt for Red October. But now I'm on the damn submarine movie kick. No, I gotta go play Red Dead Redemption. All right, I got it out of my system. This is a good film. Consider checking it out yourself, or wait until it's out on Netflix and then definitely watch it or something like that. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button.
Ding the bell. Click the thing.
Mm-hmm. Click the thing, and Joe, you wanna? That's Titans merchandise, not our merchandise.
Subscribe. You didn't say bye.
All right, and I'm not wearing it either. Make sure you buy some of our merchandise because that shit looks cool, and we could use your support because YouTube is getting crazy, man, demonetizing everything lately. I might have to make a video on that. So definitely support our channel, merchandise, sub, like. Whatever you want to do it. Thank you very much, and we will see you on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys.